Good morning, welcome back to another video, and today we are going to be talking about the science behind the hihi no mi, or the chili fruit. Let's go! Okay, so what I want to actually kick this off is aokiji's devil fruit is pretty damn badass, and here is why. This is the first one that I actually uncovered, going into a little bit of the science of this devil fruit. Now, he has a zero resistance movement speed, so to speak. This will actually move into a little bit of physics when it comes to maglev technology. But first we need to cover how cold he can actually get. Because he is completely made of ice, and he has the logo of pretty much ice, he pretty much can just change the temperature of pretty much anything around him. We saw him actually turn people into icicles, pop things, where he did to Luffy and Nico Robin, where they had to defrost them. Other than that, he was able to freeze a tsunami really fast, and that was pretty damn awesome at the War of the Best, I must say. So that was like one of my favourite scenes from that. But other than that, he tends to be able to get exceedingly cold. When we're actually seeing him form, he's actually in a stasis point of when he's rebuilding, unlike a few of the others where when they're rebuilding their bodies, they're not actually frozen still. They're more or less moving while they're rebuilding their parts of their body with their devil fruit. When it comes to aokiji's devil fruit, he pretty much is more motionless than anything when he's rebuilding his body. We have seen a couple of times of him actually just healing like bullet hole wounds, but I'm talking about a complete destruction of his entire body. He had to stand still to rebuild himself. This was showcased on one of the islands on the way to Water 7, and I found this to be a quite interesting part on how he actually is getting so cold. Now, thinking about this way, he has the ability of being able to go insanely cold temperatures. We're just going to say, as the ice is still moving and it's still building around him to make him back up, it is not absolute zero when it comes to how cold he is. This is more or less around about minus 210 degrees Celsius, and this is probably why as the ice particles will be able to actually move when he is rebuilding himself, so he could still be able to reform. If he was at absolute zero, he wouldn't have been able to reform himself, even if he had the ability to control ice, because that means there would be no kinetic energy actually in that ice in order for it to actually move, if you get me. But other than that, guys, let's get into how he can actually move at such a high velocity. This is premised on the ability of maglev technology, and we've seen this in Tokyo, where they have bullet trains, and maglev technology is where you use magnets to suspend a train or an object above another magnet which is repelling it at the same time, giving it the effect of levitation. Now, when it comes to certain different types of materials, such as superconductors, which are used in maglev technology, we can see that the certain types of temperatures you can actually reach by getting to extreme cold temperatures gives the ability of magnetization, where you can actually create a magnet pretty much out of an object when you get it to a certain point. And this is why they're called superconductors. There is a superconductor which you can use called yttrium, barium, copper oxide. And that is just a fancy name for a compound. It is basically just a compound in which, if you get it to around about 63 degrees Kelvin or minus 210.15 degrees Celsius, or if you want to be Fahrenheit, minus 346.27 degrees Fahrenheit, then you're going to see some weird effects. If it is at base room temperature, it wouldn't do anything. It would just be a block of a compound pretty much. And once you get it to those temperatures, then it becomes magnetized. Now, I thought of it this way. His devil fruit doesn't outright give him super speed, so to speak. But he could theoretically actually travel at a very cool velocity. He could actually technically run at a high velocity. So, that being the case, it would be more along the lines of if he actually got hold of this types of materials like superconductors. I'm pretty certain that in the One Piece universe you could find different types of minerals and all that jazz that do act as superconductors under extreme temperatures, because we've had them referenced in the past, which means that you can get hold of these compounds in the One Piece universe. So therefore he could theoretically move at an insane speed. Now this would mean that he would be travelling at a 0 resistance on the ground base. The only resistance that would actually be affecting him when he's actually travelling at these high speeds, and that would be air resistance. And air resistance plays a bit of a big role when it comes to all that stuff, but not in like a major like undestructive thing. So take for instance the sea train, which we've actually seen, or any other types of trains like a land train. That being the case, he could actually make bullet trains in the One Piece universe by being able to cool things down to an insane degree and therefore be able to get across like the ocean or the land pretty damn fast. So I just wanted to cover that right there because I found it to be really, really interesting that he could possibly do it if he really wanted to, or put some like magnets on his or that superconductors on the soles of his feet, and therefore be able to do some like maglev stuff with like the ground having some of that compound in it as well. So say that the Marineford base had literally on the floor just a load of this superconductor. All he would have to do is super cool his feet with those superconductors on. He'd be repelling and he'd be able to move at insane speeds. Not as fast as Kizaru though, and possibly be able to rival the Magu no Mi, as because he's got to think about resistance in both aspects with the Magu no Mi, but with the chili fruit, he actually has to think about is the air resistance, which makes him go a lot faster than the Magu no Mi, which I found to be quite interesting, if I do say so myself. Other than that, I wanted to get into 0 resistance energy. When you get to a certain point in temperature where when you get to a certain degree below Celsius, it kind of gets a bit funny where the electrical current that actually travels through the ice actually has 0 resistance, which means that you could send electricity through that as well. Now, this is kind of funny when it actually comes to this because it's more of a supporting act. Say, I'm going to propose that if Eneru and aokiji actually fought together, they could create like insane damaging effects where aokiji could create his ice lances and Eneru could fire his electricity, and he could use that ice to direct the electricity in a point blank range where he could actually do some serious damage. Along with that, I do find that the chili fruit in general is more of a supporting devil fruit where it actually helps more people in the long run than anything. It's more of an offensive then, so to speak, where it can protect, but it also can protect yourself and others around you, but it does have some offensive abilities. But in the general sense of what I've dug up on like through my like textbooks and the internet, I have found that it is more or less a supporting type of devil fruit to help other people fight. So that being the case, guys, that is what I've dug up for the Hihi no Mi. Please tell me if I've missed out anything down below in the comment section, because I'm pretty certain I have. But other than that, guys, have a lovely rest of the day, and I shall see you on the next video on Saturday. Take it easy, guys.